well, something you don't want to eat.
Poison.
Unhealthy, toxic, not good for my body.
Pesticides, currently one of the most controversial ecological topics in the world. But how does it affect the health of humans like us on a daily basis? And how does it affect the farming community?
Well, there's too much of them.
Pesticides are used for people that want to control nature, not really learn from it.
Amongst the general public and organic farmers, the consensus is that pesticides cause harmful effects to human health and the health of the environment. But are pesticides always negative?
So pesticides are typically chemicals or sometimes microorganisms that are used to mitigate, reduce, or eliminate other organisms that compete with humans for the production of food.
Pest control, so you can get rid of more bugs and get more fruit, so you can sell more fruit. Just business.
Well, the pros are pretty obvious. Farmers wouldn't be using them if it didn't improve the yield of their crops. And there's been numerous studies starting probably in the early 1960s onward showing the actual dollar benefit to a farmer of using pesticides, the amount of extra yield that they're able to harvest relative to the cost of applying a pesticide.
We've been doing organic farming since I started in 2015. I took a class in college to learn about organic farming. I come from a city that we mass produce food. 90% of the food goes worldwide, and everything's grown with pesticides and chemicals. So the narrative for me, growing in a small community where we mass produce food, not really catered to small farmers. It's catered to massive industrial agriculture that really doesn't care for the environment, only cares for profit. So for me, as a farmer that lived in that community, the average farmer is 55 years old, so we don't have a lot of young people doing it. The way my dad told me about farming, either you go to school or you're gonna end up in the fields like me, so I didn't want to end up like my father, but for me this work is spiritual. Seeing a healing process, it's an everyday thing. You'll never be healed, so I feel always healing, finding good practices and habits for your temple, your body, to take care of it and nurture it.
Yes, there's no question. Producing food organically is safer for the environment because organic food production depends on the use of organically certified pesticides. So organic food is produced with some pesticides, not no pesticides, which I think a lot of people don't quite understand that. There are certain pesticides, ones that are of natural origin, ones that are produced from microorganisms, pesticides that are produced from plants, that are extracted out of plants and then applied to other plants, ones that are natural in origin, that break down quickly in the environment, that are relatively safe to use for the user and for the environment. The real question is, does that impact our health? Food and Drug Administration, USDA, and other organizations, California Department of Pesticide Regulation, for example, do what are called market basket surveys every year. They go out into supermarkets, buy a wide range of produce, all kinds of things, including things like dairy products, and I think maybe even some meat products, but predominantly fruits and vegetables. Same ones we buy, take them back to the lab and analyze them for up to 200 different kinds of pesticides, looking to see if there are residues present and how much pesticide residue is actually on that food. They consistently find no pesticide residues whatsoever, or at least measurable with the best chemical analytical technology we have, in about 2/3 of the food they sample. Of the other third of samples that are taken and analyzed, almost all of those have pesticide residues below any recognized government standard.
I do. Not really, because I usually get it at the markets, but I do eat organic too.
Absolutely, yes.
My opinion is that I'm not concerned about eating conventionally produced food because the majority of it probably has no pesticide residues, And the minority of it that does have pesticide residues, those pesticide residues are a lot lower than would be any level I would be concerned with, because they have to somehow find a balance between the economic value of using pesticides for generating the food that we all need versus the potential environmental and health problems that can arise if they're used or overused or used inappropriately.
We all have choices. With our dollar, we can vote for what we want to see in the future.